During World War II, Jeep-type vehicles became the backbone of modern armies. They were fast, dependable, and capable of reaching places larger vehicles simply could not. In this video, we cover every World War II Jeep-type vehicle, nation by nation. We begin with the United States. First, the Willys MB. This vehicle became the iconic image of the American Jeep. It defined the general-purpose military vehicle. Rugged, reliable, and extremely adaptable, it became a true symbol of Allied mobility and wartime ingenuity. Next is the Ford GPW. Nearly identical to the Willys MB, Ford produced this model using Willys blueprints. By rapidly scaling production, Ford helped ensure Allied forces received the massive number of vehicles needed for a global war. Up next is the Ford GP. This was one of the early proto-Jeep designs. GP stood for Government Project, or possibly General Purpose. It featured the recognizable flat hood, but was soon phased out once the final MB design was standardized. Then comes the Bantam BRC-40. This vehicle was the original pioneer. Bantam created the first design that met the U.S. Army's strict requirements. Although Willys secured the main contract, Bantam still produced thousands of these tough and capable vehicles. Next is the Willys MA. This was the direct predecessor to the MB and Willys' original submission. It featured a column-mounted gear shift and a simpler single-gauge instrument cluster. Most MA units were sent overseas for testing and battlefield evaluation. Now we move to the United Kingdom. The Standard Light Utility, commonly known as the Tilly, was Britain's closest equivalent to the Jeep. Like its American counterpart, it was compact and versatile. It was used for transport, liaison, and light cargo duties across every theater of the war. Next, Germany. The Volkswagen Kübelwagen was Germany's answer to the light utility vehicle. Lightweight and mechanically simple, it used a rear-mounted, air-cooled engine. Its off-road capability was excellent, especially in the deep sands of North Africa. Then came the Volkswagen Schwimmwagen. This was the famous amphibious Volkswagen. It featured a fold-down propeller that allowed it to travel seamlessly from land to water. Highly versatile, it remains one of the most remarkable utility vehicles of the war. The Stoer R200 followed. This was a heavier German four-wheel drive utility vehicle used for troop and equipment transport. It featured independent suspension on all four wheels. While capable, its mechanical complexity made field repairs more challenging. Next is the Horch 901, another standardized German military vehicle, known for its boxy, angular design. It served reliably throughout the conflict, often transporting officers and critical communications equipment. Now, we turn to Japan. The Kurogane Type 95 was Japan's primary light utility vehicle. It is often considered the world's first mass-produced four-wheel drive vehicle. Its motorcycle-inspired front fenders gave it a unique appearance. Designed for rugged conditions, it was well-suited for Pacific Island operations. Next is the Toyota AK-10. This Japanese utility vehicle was heavily influenced by the American Bantam design. Produced in limited numbers, it reflects Japan's efforts to rapidly adapt successful foreign concepts for military use. Now, France. The Lafley V10 was a French light reconnaissance vehicle. It stood out due to its unusual six-wheel configuration. Produced before the fall of France in 1940, many units were captured and quickly reused by German forces. The Lafley V15 was a larger and heavier utility vehicle. It was commonly used for towing light artillery. Like the V10, it was pressed into Axis service after France's occupation. Next is the Peugeot DMA. Originally a civilian truck and van platform, it was adapted for wartime needs. It primarily handled local logistics, carrying supplies rather than troops. Simple and dependable, it served as a practical workhorse. Finally, Italy. The SPA Viberti AS-43 was a light Italian armored car used for reconnaissance and fast patrols in North Africa. Quick and well-armed for its size, it later saw service under German control as well. The SPA TL-37 was an Italian light artillery tractor. It was instantly recognizable by its large wheels and high ground clearance. Designed to haul heavy guns across harsh desert terrain, it played a vital support role on the battlefield. Now, let's turn to Czechoslovakia. The Tatra 57K was a Czech light utility vehicle. It was essentially a militarized version of a successful civilian car line. After Czechoslovakia was absorbed into the German war machine, this vehicle was widely used for liaison and support duties. Next is the Praga AV, another dependable utility vehicle originating from Czechoslovakia. It saw extensive use by Axis forces for light transport roles. This vehicle reflects how the industrial output of occupied Czechos nations was redirected to support the German war effort. Now we move to Canada. The Chevrolet Pattern Light Utility was a Commonwealth design built on a standardized General Motors platform. Highly adaptable and relatively easy to maintain, it proved reliable in harsh operating conditions. These vehicles served extensively across the Pacific and Middle Eastern theaters. Finally, the Soviet Union. The GAZ-64 was the Soviet Union's first indigenous Jeep-type vehicle. It was designed extremely quickly under intense wartime pressure. However, its very narrow wheel track made it unstable and prone to tipping on uneven terrain. Next came the GAZ-67. This was a major improvement over the earlier model. Soviet engineers corrected the stability problems by significantly widening the wheel track. It became the standard Soviet light utility vehicle for the latter half of the war. Last is the GAZ-67B, a further refinement of the proven GAZ-67 design. Small updates to the body and engine improved performance and reliability. This version remained in dependable service well beyond the end of World War II.